Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nimbin Bush Theatre for our amateur performance of The Curious Savage. We hope you enjoy your evening. I'd just like to remind everybody to please switch off your mobile phones, and there will be a short interval of 15 minutes, about an hour and a half into the production. The house lights will come up in the auditorium and that will be the signal. Thank you everybody for your support. We hope you enjoy your evening.
Is their car still in front? Fairy, I said, is their car in front?
Oh, Fairy, Florence was speaking to you.
Oh, sorry, Florence. What did you say? I was watching the fireflies.
I said, can you see if they've left yet?
I wish I'd been born a cat so I could see in the dark.
Well, I don't think I'll wait for them. I'm going to get a book and go up to my room.
Does your jaw hurt tonight, Jeff?
Not bad.
Then stay a little longer. Would like to have you.
Jeff, you've already invested 267 minutes in waiting. Surely you can afford another 10 cents worth.
All right, my statistical friend. My curiosity is good for 10 minutes more.
I wonder what she's like. Miss Willie says they're one of the wealthiest families in all of America.
Oh, that's bad. She'll have an expensive camera she can't work, or rave about an artist I've never heard of.
Oh, cynic. Has money spoiled me?
Do you have money, Fairy?
Bags.
Let's not be prejudiced about money, Fairy. Some of my best friends are wealthy. Hannibal, play something while we're waiting. Help distract Jeff.
Well, you catch me tuned. What shall I play?
Surprises.
How about The Flight of the Bumblebee?
Please don't play Flight of the Bumblebee, Hannibal. It frightens me.
Frightens you?
Terrifies me. I was stolen by bumblebees when I was a child and rescued just before they turned my skin to stripes with walnut juice. Well, I was!
Go ahead, Hannibal.
I hope she likes music. Oh, the harp. I was raised on a harp. I hope she plays it. Sorry, Hannibal, go ahead. All my life, my father, like an angel.
Jeff, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Hannibal. There's a book I want on the shelf.
Fairy, go get the book for Jeff so we can listen to Hannibal.
Wait, I'll get a chair.
Never mind, Fairy. I can get it.
No, Jeffrey, climbing on chairs is women's work. Men have mountains. Which book was it you wanted?
The Lifespan of the Egg.
People give the strangest books to this library. I couldn't get into Forbidden Tibet.
You know, it's amazing what standing above everyone does. I feel smarter than anyone in the whole world.
It's the yellow one.
Books are in my blood. My mother, she invented the filing system in the Library of New York. She was known as Queen of Cross Index.
I'll get Jeffrey's book, Fairy.
No. Musicians shouldn't work.
Now, Fairy, don't get dust in your eyes.
Wouldn't you like animal husbandry instead? I can reach that one.
Yep, this time it's got to be the lifespan of the egg.
Goose it out with this. Lights! Turn the lights back on!
Don't let me fall.
Lights, please, turn the lights back on!
Hannibal, get the switch before someone is hurt.
It looks like Mrs. Patty is back.
Oh, lights! Lights! Lights!
Please, Mrs. Patty, let us keep the lights on.
Some night, you're going to turn the lights out at the wrong time and hurt somebody. I do wish you'd chosen something else to give up for Lent.
It's unfair to make the rest of us suffer to get you to heaven, Mrs. Patty.
Some people like electricity.
Now you sit at your easel like a good girl and leave the lights alone.
I must say, you startled us, Miss Willie. We thought you were in the front office.
For the love of Pete, Fairy, what are you up to?
I was just getting a book for Jeffrey.
With a back scratcher?
I couldn't quite reach it.
I'm sorry to have caused all this commotion.
No. I'll get your book, Jeffrey. Everyone, watch his own head. Timber! There you are, Jeffrey. You may take the back scratcher, Miss Lily. You may take my hand, Hannibal.
The next time somebody wants a book from the top, Fairy, call me. The whole shelf might have fallen on you.
Oh, whoever heard of being hurt by good books?
Enough of them, my darling, and I'd hate that to happen.
I hate everything in the world. I hate everything in the world. I hate everything in the world. I hate cold cream and hot dogs and codfish and crawfish and catfish and catnip and sheep dip, sawdust and sand, sewers and skewers, caterpillars, fractions and pins and puns, pens, policemen, and electricity. Ugh.
How much longer do we have to wait, Miss Lily?
They're taking an awfully long time in the front office.
I don't know. Let's tidy up a bit. Can you put the Parcheesi board away, please, Fairy?
Is she young or old?
All I know is that her name is Savage and she gets a blue room.
Oh, I hope she isn't beautiful. Competition exhausts me.
You tied that one in a hurry, Bingo.
Miss Willie, please don't call me that. It's a pet name my wife uses.
I forgot.
I wish you wouldn't single me out to kiss.
You're the handsomest.
What would my wife think if she came to call and saw a strange woman kissing me? She'd explode.
She would if I know her.
Will you please try to remember?
I'll try. Forgive me.
Oh, good work.
Tingling. Tingling.
Hello. Yes, Dr. Emmett. Right away. Hannibal, put the dartboard up, please. Don't cover the space, darlings. Let's make a good first impression.
Will we meet her now?
I don't know.
We haven't had anyone here interesting since the magician's wife. Remember? She was all nerves from being sawed in half too many times. What was her name?
Something hyphenated.
I forget. But she had colour. All my relations are so drab. Both my parents are albinos.
Oh, Fairy, you shouldn't invent such things.
Well, they were emotional albinos.
Fairy, don't peek. It's so degrading being on your knees.
You get on your knees to pray, don't you? I'll say a prayer. Dear God, let me see something.
See anything?
Yes, I do. God was quick.
What do you see?
Someone coming out of Dr. Emmett's office.
Who?
1, 2, 3 strange people. Oh, they're coming in here, quick! Let's go into the hallway and eavesdrop.
Is that ethical, Jeff?
Well, you know who we sent her anyhow.
We could call it espionage.
Come, Mrs. Penny, we're going to spy.
I'll guard the light switch. It's rude to let guests enter a dark room.
This is the last time I'm going to be party to peeking, Fairy. Nearly simply ruins my nylons.
I mustn't get excited or I'll get the hiccups and I'll betray her.
Dr. Emmett will join you in a moment.
Please tell him that if there is nothing more, we'd like to get started back.
Yes, Senator Savage. There are cigarettes and magazines on the table. Please make yourselves at home.
Well, what do you think of it now, Titus? Are you reassured?
Somewhat. It certainly doesn't look like an institution.
No, not at all.
Mother will be contented and happy here, I'm sure. It's a charming place.
I just hope we haven't made a mistake.
Darling, the only mistake we made was in not taking steps sooner.
I don't like to be thought insensitive. It might have been wiser to have kept her at home with an attendant.
That would have been disastrous. Why, someone has to be practical.
No, you're callous. You've married too many foreigners.
Sandra, darling, we've done what had to be done. Let's not quarrel about it now, please.
Lilybell is right. This is civilised behaviour.
I'm sorry to have delayed you. I was anxious to have Dr. Johnson question your mother.
This is quite a place you have here, Doctor. It's been a great relief for us to have found it so cheerful.
But then we were assured that your place offered the best that money could buy.
We hope to offer the best that experience can provide.
One thing I meant to ask you, Doctor. Will Mother be exposed to any danger here?
Oh, not no. The guests here are in their final stages of treatment. They're extremely kind and cooperative.
To look at them, Senator, most of them would seem quite as normal as, say, yourself.
You don't say.
And while we're waiting, Senator, I'd like to ask a couple more questions about this memorial fund of your mother's.
There's little more to tell. She planned on using it to give away the entire Savage estate.
The newspapers call it her happiness fund.
Is indifference to money something recent?
I wouldn't say so.
She's always given money to foolish causes.
Would you mind being more specific?
Well, there was an Italian farmer from Italy who wanted a box of soil from the old country.
Just dirt.
Mother spent $200 to get it for him.
And then there was a flower peddler who wanted a tombstone for his horse.
He got it.
After Father died, this obsession became progressively worse. Last summer, she chartered a ship to send 1,000 school children around the world.
Why?
She said they ought to go around the world while there was still a world around.
We stopped her, just as she was on the verge of setting up this fund legally.
With a full board of directors.
With a fantastic board of directors. Not a banker, a bishop, or a lawyer among them.
Whom did she choose?
A postman, a gardener, a veterinarian, and herself.
We should have known her mind was going the day she decided to go on the stage.
Have you ever heard of such a case before, Doctor? What would make a woman of her age suddenly decide to take up acting?
The unique is routine here, Senator. Nothing surprises us.
If she'd been talented or even vain, I could have understood it.
But she wasn't. She was always quiet, even timid. Then suddenly this amazing change.
Grief did it.
And I wish you could explain that bear to us.
Obvious exhibitionism.
Exactly.
She took a childish delight in being seen everywhere with that teddy bear.
Anything to indulge her sudden love for notoriety.
Her entire conduct was a travesty of dignity and self-respect.
And sound business.
But why turn to acting? Life has enough drama in it.
God knows.
Can you tell me, Senator, has there ever been a similar pattern of behaviour in your mother's family?
Frankly, I don't know.
You see, Doctor, she isn't really our mother.
Oh.
Father remarried again when we were children.
I see.
But it has never made any difference in our feeling towards her.
Well, I'm afraid I can't be of much help to you until I've had a chance to observe her behaviour here.
You're the doctor.
And we know she'll be comfortable in such a charming place.
I wouldn't mind staying here myself.
This is no place to laugh, Samuel.
But we encourage laughter here, Senator. We think it healthy.
You do?
Definitely, as Byron says. For if I laugh at any mortal thing, 'tis that I may not win.
Of course, of course.
Yes, Miss Willie?
I beg your pardon, Doctor, but Dr. Johnson won't be able to complete Mr. Savage's file for the moment.
Oh, why not?
He finds her a little uncooperative.
Will you bring her in, please?
Yes, Doctor.
While you're saying goodbye, I will have a word with Dr. Johnson.
Oh, no, please don't go, Doctor.
Please, Doctor.
Please.
We'd prefer it if you stay, please, Doctor. We think the shorter we make this, the better for all concerned.
She's vindictive.
You see, Doctor, for some reason she holds me responsible.
We'll have to give her a little more time to get over her resentment.
Would you like to come in here, Mrs. Savage?
Please sit down, Mrs. Savage.
We waited to say goodbye to you, Mother.
I do not like thee, Lily Bell. The reason why I cannot tell this I know full well. I do not like thee, Lily Bell.
She's been chanting that over and over in the car, all the way down here.
Your children are leaving, Mrs. Savage. Would you not like to say goodbye to them? They would like to say goodbye to you, Mrs. Savage.
The fireflies are out. How lovely. What makes the fireflies light up, Doctor? Are they mating?
Really couldn't say, Mrs. Savage.
I thought you'd know. Isn't this a bug house?
This is the cloisters. This is to be your home. I am Dr. Emmett.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if human beings lit up like fireflies when they were mating? Do you glow when you're mating, Lily Bell? Lord knows you're flighty.
We might as well go, Titus. She's just going to be unpleasant again.
Surely, Mother, you're not going to let us depart in an atmosphere of bitterness?
50 needles and 50 pins and 50 dirty Republicans.
She's determined to take the wrong attitude.
Futile.
Well, time will take care of this. Come, Samuel.
We'll send more of her things down later, Doctor. We couldn't pack but one group under the circumstances.
Well, Sunday is Visitors' Day, if you'd care to bring them down then.
My sister is returning to Paris next week, Doctor, but we'll make arrangements.
Good night, Mother.
If there's anything you need, Mrs. Savage, Miss Wilhelmina will be right outside.
We've a lovely garden out there. You'll be able to see it in the morning. When I was a child, we always used to say 30 needles and 30 pins. You've added 20 more dirty Republicans.
It's a fault of mine. Exaggeration. It's stupid of me to try to irritate them like this. I only irritate myself. Still, I guess it has to be exasperating now to be funny later.
Would you care to sit? I noticed one of its eyes is gone. It must have fallen out in the office. I can look as soon as they go.
Oh, don't bother. It fell out last fall at the opera. I would have found it, but that usher was so nasty about me lighting matches during the Magic Fire music. You know what this is, don't you?
Suppose you tell me.
It's a teddy bear. Surely you've seen one before.
Not that big.
You know what I do?
I couldn't possibly guess.
I sleep with it.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Are you going to speak to me as if I'm an imbecile too?
Here. We mustn't be hostile.
No, of course not. You haven't harmed me. Would you care to know why I sleep with it?
If you care to tell me.
I don't care, and I'll tell you. I get lonely. I'm too old to have a lover, and too fastidious to sleep with a cat.
Then by all means, you must take it to bed with you here. Would you care to take off your hat?
Oh, well, I suppose if I'm going to spend the rest of my life here, I might as well.
It's a mighty saucy hat.
10-cent piece of taffeta and 3 chicken feathers, $85. Why economy should be so expensive, I don't know.
It takes imagination.
And the blood of pirates. but I wanted it. I wanted a hat like this since I was 16, for all the good it does me now. Well, I won't be needing a hat here. Perhaps you can use it for something. I'm not at all sure what.
I think you better keep it. You might need it.
Oh, dear, dear. My hair looks like the matted end of a coconut.
Oh, I don't think so. It's a heavenly colour.
Oh, you should have seen it last year. It was bright red. And then, just to be different, I dyed it black with a white streak down the middle. I looked like nothing so much as a skunk. And then I finally gave up and just dyed it blue. It goes with everything.
Well, it'll certainly go with your room. Wouldn't you like to go and get settled?
Oh, is it time to lock me up?
I wouldn't dream of locking you up. Did you bring a suitcase?
Well, my daughter did. I wasn't consulted.
Well, I'll get it and I'll take you up. There'll be time to explore your surroundings tomorrow. You can wait here.
Alone?
Of course.
No handcuffs.
We have your honour system.
Honest, indeed.
Hello.
Hello.
Miss Willie says the bars are only there to keep the world outside.
Corny, isn't it? Oh, it's alive!
Now, Fairy should stop frightening yourself.
Oh no, the poor thing's quite harmless.
It won't bite.
It won't shed, lay eggs, or bark. And to the best of my knowledge, it's unvexed by sex. It couldn't be any less trouble.
Perhaps we should introduce ourselves.
Any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
You must be Mrs. Savage. I'm Florence Williams.
How do you do?
Very pleased to have you here this afternoon. We're so glad to have you with us. May I introduce Fairy May?
Say you love me.
Oh, but we just met.
Well, you don't have to mean it. I feel wonderful when people say they love me.
Well, I'm sure everyone loves you.
See? I told you she wouldn't be spoiled. Welcome to the cloisters. Crowned at best by government test.
And this is Hannibal. And this is our Mrs. Paddy.
How do you do, Mrs. Paddy?
I hate everything in the world. I hate everything in the world. I hate lightning and cabbage and custard and mustard and spiders and girdles. Ragweed and chloroform, mice and bees and keys, bats and gnats, broken glass and eels and rhubarb, eels and crumbs and drunks and tombstones and gallstones, salt and thunder. Thunder!
Why don't you like rhubarb?
Mrs. Paddy won't answer you, Mrs. Savage. She'll simply recite the thing she hates.
Sweet but stubborn.
Mrs. Paddy stopped talking about 20 years ago.
Why? She got mad.
Her husband told her to shut up!
And she did.
She gave you a conversation for life.
But she's only giving up electricity for Lent.
You're a woman of wisdom, Mrs. Paddy. There's only one thing wiser than saying very little, and that's saying nothing at all. Oh, would you like to hold him?
She likes you.
I like her.
Oh, Jeff, come here, Jeff.
Please, excuse my left hand.
Certainly. Is it a toothache?
No, Jeff's face is scarred and he likes to spare people.
Oh, you don't have to spare me. I have to look at myself every morning.
Dr. Emmett refuses to let me wear a bandage.
Oh, we have to humour our doctors once in a while.
And now you have met everyone. We're a small group on this week, and we trust you will find it nice to be with you.
But Mrs. Savage hasn't met everyone. She hasn't met the Holy Terror.
Oh, of course, how stupid of me.
Where is he, Florence?
I don't know. He was here a few moments ago. He might be in the hall. I'll go see. John Thomas! You won't hurt her, will you?
Gracious, why should I?
You won't object, will you?
Well, what is John Thomas?
Son, of course.
What, here?
Oh yes, he was born here.
I can't find him. Oh, look, asleep on the floor. Oh, my husband always warned me I'd be a bad mother. Mrs. Savage, this is my son.
You like children, don't you?
Oh, everyone's but my own. How old is he?
He's 7.
Oh, he's big for 7 months.
No, 7 years.
Oh, yes, I meant years.
Will you excuse us, Mrs. Savage? I have to put him to bed. He has measles. I do hope you don't catch them. Excuse me.
That was exceedingly kind of you, Mrs. Savage, not to notice anything wrong.
We didn't have enough time to explain, but you were like lightning.
Poor Florence isn't well. We pretend for her sake. We hope you will too.
Oh, I will. I will.
I think you should know straight away, Mrs. Savage. Apart from Florence, the rest of us are free to leave whenever we want to.
But we don't go because there's no better place to go.
You're a very lucky woman to be accepted here, Mrs. Savage. If I do say so myself.
Oh, do be quiet.
Tyrant.
What is that?
That rude noise is the signal for us to go to our room.
It's the evil of the modern age. Perfect pistons and no manners.
Well, ours is not to reason why, ours is but to... I wonder why no one ever quotes the first line. It's someone blundered.
Good night.
No, I didn't hear you. We don't say that. It means there's no more.
No more what?
No more of so much.
Don't let Jeff's manner disturb you. During the war, his plane was shot down in flames. He hasn't quite recovered yet.
Oh, was his face badly burned?
Oh no, Jeff bailed out. But he was the only one. He lost his crew. His scar goes deeper than we can see.
Surely by now you can see that Hannibal and I are the only ones here free to leave. But we don't, and we pretend to save the others' pride. Mrs. Patty, I'd forgotten you were in here. I didn't mean you anyhow. I could tear out my tongue. Excuse me, I'll have to go apologize or she'll sulk.
Poor Fairy has the gift of the good for saying the wrong thing.
Well, I should think it would take a bit of doing to apologise to someone who won't speak and who sulks anyhow.
Although you'll get used to Mrs. Paddy. Just treat her like a clock. Look at her to see how the day goes, but don't expect an answer. She's happy at her easel.
Oh, is she an artist?
I don't know that she's an artist, but she paints.
Portraits?
Seascapes, which is rather odd because she's never seen the ocean.
And I forgot, stay awake. If you go to your room, don't sleep.
What did she mean about not sleeping?
Oh, nobody sleeps here.
Well, where do you sleep?
Oh, no. We go to our rooms, we've agreed to that on principle, but we never close our eyes. You see, when today ends, tomorrow begins. Today we're safe. Tomorrow could be filled with disaster. You won't catch us sleeping. Could anything be simpler?
Not much.
Today is the only certainty.
Hannibal, you heard the buzzer. Why aren't you in your room?
I am in spirit, and everyone says it's the spirit that counts. Remember, fight the night.
Did they all come to meet you?
Well, there was a Mrs. Paddy and 4 others who have no business being here at their age.
I quite agree.
Do you think I belong here?
We're understaffed, Mrs. Savage. I'm kept too busy to have any opinions.
I'd like to know what they told you about me.
Was there anything to tell?
Did they mention my memorial fund?
Not to me.
Then they probably told you that my husband's death unhinged my reason.
Well, that would be understandable.
But untrue.
Were you happy with your husband, Mrs. Savage?
I married Jonathan when I was 16. I loved him from the moment I met him until the moment he died. Do you know what that meant?
I think so.
No, I don't think so. It meant that my only aim in life was to make him happy, to want what he wanted, and to do whatever pleased him. And that meant all the other things that I'd ever wanted to do had to be forgotten.
But surely you had no regrets.
None, while he lived. But after he was gone, I remembered all the foolish things that I'd ever wanted to do.
And what had you always wanted to do?
Things that would have shocked poor Jonathan.
Like dyeing your hair blue?
That, and studying French, and ballet dancing, and people. As a girl, I was sure I could have been a great actress. So, with no responsibilities and time running out, I decided to be one.
Don't you think you waited too long, Mrs. Savage?
I certainly do. Had I been a fool in my youth, no one would have noticed the difference in my old age.
Oh, I'd never think of you as old, Mrs. Savage.
No, well, having kicked over the traces myself, and learned once again the importance of unimportant things, I decided that I'd help others have the foolish things that they'd always wanted.
How were you going to do that?
By establishing the Jonathan Savage Memorial Fund, a foundation for giving money away in memory of my husband. And that insane idea has brought me here.
Well, you won't find it too unpleasant here. Shall we go up to your room?
At least I learned one thing from my French lessons.
What's that?
What I am. I'm a mort canard. That's a dead duck.
Now. It's not as bad as that.
Yes, it is. Someday you'll realise that a great injustice was done me. You'll know that I was always quite sane. But here I am. Here they'll try to kill me. With my few foolish years stolen from me. If people would walk around the edge of the carpet once in a while, I could save wearing it out in the middle.
melody to the morning.
You could be in the concert field, Hannibal, if you practiced, Sally.
Oh, Jeff, you're so right. Golden fingertips. I simply surrender to it. I'm a rag.
Come in, Mrs. Savage.
I trust you had a pleasant sleepless night.
Lovely, thank you. Not a wink.
You just missed Hannibal's recital.
Oh, I heard it. In fact, that's what brought me out of my room.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it, but Hannibal hadn't touched an accordion until last year.
What makes you think I wouldn't believe it, my dear? Was it something you composed yourself, Hannibal?
Bach, with variations of my own.
Mathematics class was certainly our game.
Now, I don't quite follow that theory.
Fairy knows that I used to be a statistician.
Ah, thank you. Now I'm straight.
Give him a fraction to multiply.
I'm afraid I wouldn't know whether he was right or not.
My last position was with the government, charting trends. I was supposed to keep my finger on the pulse of the public and my ear to the ground.
A rather vulnerable position, was it not?
Very. I was fired and replaced by an electronic calculator.
I should think you'd have electricity too.
No, but I did want to make money with my brains. So I spent 2 years trying to think of something I could make for a dime and sell for $1 that was habit forming. I'm afraid my education was wasted.
I'm going to send John Thomas to Princeton. The boys aren't very bright, but they're such gentlemen.
Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Savage. May I ask you a personal question?
Oh, we're the only ones worth asking, my dear.
Miss Williams told us that you used to be an actress. We're bursting with curiosity. Is it true?
Oh, that. Well, I guess if being on the stage makes you an actress, then it's true.
Miss Willie, that's the bird Florence was talking about. Said you'd been on the New York stage.
Would we have seen you in anything, Mrs. Savage?
Not unless you were quick. Actually, I was only in 2 plays. The first was Macbeth.
I adore Macbeth. All that blood. I once sent a pint of my own blood to the Red Cross. They sent it back.
I should think that you would have made a novel departure as Lady Macbeth.
I can't say how much I agree with you, but they cast me as a witch.
Oh, you're a perfect witch.
Thank you, dear.
Please speak some witch talk.
Well, I didn't have any lines. If I had, it probably would have cost me twice as much.
Why did it cost you anything?
Well, I backed the show. If I hadn't put up the money, I probably couldn't have even played the mute witch. But we made history. It's the first play ever to close before the reviews were out.
Was it expensive?
Terribly expensive, but worth it.
What a pity. Weren't you discouraged?
Bitterly. But man is by nature optimistic. If he weren't, he'd eat his young. So I decided to write a play and star in it myself.
Oh, you wrote a play?
Indeed I did, with a courage born of ignorance and a plot out of wedlock.
What part did you play then?
Naturally, the lead. Not guilty, starring Ethel P. Savage.
What does the P stand for?
I hadn't the faintest idea. My numerologist said I needed it in my name, for luck. He was right. We ran a year.
What was the play about?
Oh, a mother who murdered a man and was defended by a young woman lawyer who turns out to be her very own daughter. Oh. I had bright red hair and I died in my daughter's arms every night and 2 matinees a week. Just as the curtain came down and the jury whispered, "Not guilty." Oh, I've never had a better time in my life.
I gather the nurses were rather better that time.
Oh, they were sincere, but that didn't matter.
What did they say?
The New York Times said I brought something new to the theatre.
Money?
Oh, really, Mary? Money isn't new.
It said that I put the theatre back. I set the theatre back 50 years, which I couldn't possibly because I stole the plot from Madam X, and it's only 40 years old.
Wouldn't you think they'd know?
But the Wall Street Journal was wonderful. It said it said I had a tenacious mediocrity unhampered by taste.
That wasn't good.
It was perfect. In our ads we simply said tenacious and unhampered.
And you ran a year.
We'd have been running yet if my daughter hadn't come home and stopped me. Oh, I know I was bad and audiences only came to laugh at me, but we both had a good time. What more can you ask? Oh, I do miss it. Well, my turn is coming.
Excuse me, I don't think that was very nice of your daughter.
No.
Don't do it, please, don't do it, don't, please!
What's wrong, Fairy?
Look, Mrs. Savage is about to read the newspaper.
I wouldn't do that if I were you, Mrs. Savage.
What's the matter?
We don't read anything out of the paper.
You mustn't read it.
It will only make you unhappy.
Please, Mrs. Savage, give it to
Now,
me.
just a moment. I know what's in this paper. There's nothing you can hide from me. I've just been waiting for it to happen.
Waiting for what to happen, Mrs. Savage?
Why, what it says in the paper.
We don't know what it says in the paper.
Then why are you trying to stop me from seeing it?
We have an agreement.
We never read the paper until it's more than a month old.
We find it we're much happier when we wait.
What are you waiting for?
Why, naturally we're waiting for... What are we waiting for, Hannibal?
Perspective.
Peace of mind.
Security.
Yes.
We believe it's better to read about unpleasant things a month after they've happened.
It's much more comforting to know that it's all done with and we can't do anything about it.
My dear people, there is something important in this paper that I want to know about, and I want to know now, not next month.
Well, we can't prevent Mrs. Savage from reading the paper if she insists. We don't know her well enough to be rude.
Florence is right.
Well, if you read anything horrible, don't tell us.
No. If there's any trouble in the world, it won't help us to know about it.
This is yesterday's paper. I want today's paper.
Oh, it hasn't come yet.
Well, when does it come?
I don't know.
Oh, is there a radio here?
It's right over there.
Oh, maybe I can catch the news. Why didn't someone tell me there was a radio here?
Well, you didn't ask us.
This doesn't light up. Is there anything wrong with the set?
I don't think so. Of course, it hasn't any tubes.
It hasn't any what?
Tubes! Mrs. Paddy steals them. She hates electricity, you know.
Nobody knows where she hides them.
Why did anybody mention that the set had no tubes?
Well, you didn't ask.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. How high is that wall?
Oh, much too high.
Easily 10 chairs high.
And I suppose no one leaves that gate, that great gate open.
Don't look beyond the garden, Mrs. Savage. There may be a better place somewhere. But if you give this place up to look for it, you may not find it and lose what you have.
You'll like it here after a while.
Except in January, the rooms get a bit cold.
We like you already.
Oh, it isn't that I don't find you enchanting, but you.
But what?
Don't say anything mean, please. Oh, do be still.
We have to go, Mrs. Savage.
Why? Where?
It's garden hour.
We each have a little plot where we plant things. You can plant anything you wish, vegetables or flowers.
Last year, I planted birdseed to see what would come up.
What did come up, Fairy?
Nothing, but it was a rich horticultural experience.
There's a wonderful evergreen in the centre, and at Christmas it has lights on it and says, "Merry Christmas, keep out."
Come, Mrs. Savage. I'll show you my delphiniums.
Oh, thank you. You go ahead. I've got a lot of serious thinking to do. I'll just stay here.
But the buzzer buzz. One must obey orders.
May I ask why you're doing that, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, I believe in wearing the carpet out evenly.
Oh, how prudent. I'm going to help you.
But don't you have to guard it?
This is more constructive.
I'm going to join you too. We all need to do our share.
Oh, I didn't mean to start a procession.
Come, boys. Many feet make light work.
Well, why not? It makes a pleasant change. Most women just lead us in circles.
Where behind you, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, I feel like the Pied Piper.
Jeff, you step on leaves. Hannibal, you can take buds. Mrs. Savage, you can have roses, and the rest of us will walk on thorns. Do you know what we're doing, Miss Willie?
Wearing the carpet out evenly.
Oh, someone told you.
Didn't I hear the buzzer in garden hour?
I didn't hear it. I think it's broken.
Fairy, aren't you ashamed?
Oh, I wish I was dead.
Oh, I'm to blame. I'm the culprit. Sorry, Miss Willie.
I didn't feel like gardening anyhow.
But you've worked so hard on your flowers. Do you want them to die?
I don't want anything to die.
Oh, that's so right. Florence wouldn't have had a fly. She push them out the window. Flies adore her.
I think we'd all better go and work in the garden. Fairy, can you share your seeds with Mrs. Savage? Run along now. Aren't you going with them, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, I wanted to speak with you alone.
Raj, what can I do for you?
Yeah, a great deal. And it may be that I can do a great deal for you.
Are you about to offer me a bribe, Mrs. Savage?
How did you guess?
Everyone does at first.
Still, my offer is a little different. I have the money. I'll give you $20,000 to leave that door open tonight. $30,000.
Don't you like us, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, that's a most irritating answer to a sound business offer. $40,000. You could be free of this place too.
But I don't want to be free of it.
$50,000. You could travel the world, see Cairo, Mandalay, the South Pacific.
But I've seen Cairo, and I've been to Mandalay and the South Pacific.
You have?
I spent 4 years as an army nurse.
Still, you should be able to use $50,000.
Where would you get $50,000 from? That's a fortune, Mrs. Savage.
Never mind, I can get it. And in the current idiom, 50,000 is peanuts.
Well, I believe you, but I'm afraid I'll have to refuse.
Then you have no option but to burn the place down.
Oh, you wouldn't do that.
Oh, yes I would.
Too many people here couldn't save themselves. You'd think of them first.
If you believe I belong here, then why are you appealing to my reason?
I wasn't. I was appealing to your emotions.
Well, I'm going to get out of here soon enough. It's just that robbing you would have been a lot cheaper. It'll probably cost me a couple of million at least.
Good morning, Dr. Emmett.
Good morning. Isn't Mrs. Savage downstairs?
She just this moment went to the garden.
What's her state of mind this morning?
Oh, the usual pattern. She already offered me a bribe.
What did she offer you?
The highest yet. 50,000, poor dear.
Did she sound confident?
Definitely manic. She spoke as if she still controlled her own affairs.
Apparently she still does. Read this. I've just been speaking to her children. They're practically out of their minds with worry. The senator's leaving Washington at once. He'll pick up his sister in New York, the judge in Boston, and we can expect them by tonight.
This is the most amazing story I've ever read. When did they discover it?
I gather this morning they asked me to confine her to her room.
How could she have got away with so much money?
Well, apparently her husband left the entire estate to her, and she's been secretly selling out control ever since.
$10 million. That's a typographical error, isn't it?
No, they had it all right.
But what could she have done with it?
As her son says, God knows.
Could she have spent it?
I doubt it. Would you call her in, please? I better let her know what to expect.
Oh, Mrs. Savage, can you come in, please? Dr. Emmett wants to see you. You're going to place her in seclusion.
Oh, no. I sometimes wish there were a way of placing relations in seclusion. They're always so much more trouble than patients.
Do you think she has any idea what happened to the money?
If she does, she's the only one.
I wonder, Doctor, if there's any possibility that there's method in her madness.
Miss Willie, I find it harder every day to tell where reason ends and madness begins. For the moment, I must accept the presumptive evidence of her stepchildren.
Well, from what I hear, her son's record in Congress would give any psychiatrist a nasty turn.
Indeed it would. And the sensationalism of her daughter's 6 divorces don't speak too well for her emotional stability either.
Did you want me, Doctor?
Oh, yes, good morning. Miss Willie, would you help her from the switchboard? Miriam's been deluged with calls from the newspapers.
Yes, Doctor.
Please sit down, Mrs. Savage.
I think I know what you're going to tell me.
Do you?
I see you have the morning papers. I wondered how long it would take them to find out.
Then you are aware of what you've done and of the consequences.
Oh, I think it's too early for consequences. May I see it?
The senator phoned from Washington. We can expect them by tonight.
Indeed we can. Well, I'm not going anyplace.
Mike,
How could you possibly?
how could you possibly spend $10 million, Mrs. Savage?
Who said I spent it?
That paper says you did.
Oh, what did they know? I didn't spend it, I couldn't. I hid it. You hid it? In nice $500,000 negotiable bonds that can't be traced.
Why?
I don't ask you what you do with your money, Doctor.
I'm sorry this has happened, Mrs. Savage. Your hidden treasure is going to prove a great disadvantage to you.
And that's because you're a doctor, and doctors never know the value of money.
Savage, I'd like to know how long it would take me to earn that much money.
Excuse me, I just came back to get my accordion. Fairy May would like some music while she plants her seeds.
Just a moment, Hannibal. You were a statistician. Will you tell Mrs. Savage how long it would take the average doctor to earn $10 million?
Well, he'd have to start before Christ was born and work right the way through the burning of Rome up to the burning of St. John and Savonarola, with time out, of course, for the Crusades, the Norman Conquest, the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, the 7 Years' War. So he'd have to work double time up to the discovery of America and bubblegum and penicillin, and that without taking off federal tax and state tax and city tax and school tax, education tax and luxury tax. You'd have an extra 100 years for that.
Thank you, Hannibal. It's a great deal to be responsible for, Mrs. Savage.
Now what's the doctor up to?
Oh, a bit of emotional blackmail, I suspect. Hannibal, would you guess to look at me that I'm worth $10 million on the book?
Never. The human body's only got 20 cents worth of calcium in it, 5 cents worth of iodine, 20 cents worth of phosphorus. Even at today's high prices, nobody's worth more than $1.50.
So you only value me at $1.50.
Oh, never. You said worth. Your value is inestimable.
Oh, Hannibal, I like you. I like you very much. You make me feel important. You make me feel like dancing.
Oh, well, what shall I play?
Anything.
I'm particularly good on the flight of the bumblebee.
Could anything be more appropriate? The bees come home and find the honey gone. Someone is going to get stung. Play, Hannibal. Very.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
Now, whatever makes you think that. Oh, what's the matter, Fairy May?
Nothing. It's just no one said they loved me this livelong day.
Well, yes, they have, Fairy.
Oh no, they haven't. I've been waiting.
I heard Florence say it at the dinner table.
Did she?
Did I?
Yes, she said, don't eat too fast, Fairy.
Was that saying she loved me?
Of course. People say it when they say, take an umbrella, it's raining, or hurry back, or watch out, you'll break your neck. There are hundreds of ways of wording it, you just have to listen out for it.
My dentist said I had good occlusion. Was that saying he loved me?
What else? Why, the first day I met my husband, I was riding horseback, and he said I had a good seat. I knew immediately that he loved me.
Oh, thank you. I've been missing so much. Oh, my dentist loves me.
Now, is there anything else I can clear up for you?
No. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes,
I'm keeping score and the boys won't help me. What's 5, 7 and 4?
49.
Well, Mrs. Sage,
It's my own system, Hannibal. I refuse to submit to the tyranny of mathematics.
Then I win.
I'll keep score after this.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes, Mary.
there is one other thing you can clear up for me.
What's that?
Why is it suddenly Sunday again when it was only Sunday yesterday?
What makes you think it's Sunday, Fairy?
Well, Sunday is Visitor's Day, and if your children are coming today, then it must be Sunday.
Oh, it isn't Sunday, Fairy. My brood are coming back because they couldn't wait a week.
That should make you happy.
It should, but it doesn't.
That's a wicked thing to say.
Oh. Line.
Excuse me, don't you like them?
Not at all.
Oh, that's a wicked thing to say.
Oh, well, we have to be wicked once in a while to get God's attention. But if it consoles you, Florence, they were not mine. My husband was left with 3 small children.
Oh, but you must have liked them when they were living.
I wanted to make them my own, desperately. But they always resented me. The first time I put my arms around Lilybell, she bit me. And she bit me every day until she was 10.
That must have made you very high-strung.
What made her stop at the precise age of 10?
Maybe at the age of 10 a girl begins to consider her teeth.
But the boys are so much better.
Well, not always. They had been spoiled by money. Then, whenever I tried to correct them, they'd break something I treasured just to get even with me. Oh, it was a happy day when they went away to school.
Well, school must have taught them something.
Oh yes, French. Then whenever they came home, they spoke nothing but French, so I couldn't understand them. And I haven't understood them since.
But the senator, he is really quite famous, isn't he?
Yes, that he is, make no mistake. He gets more threatening telegrams than any other man in Congress. I believe Western Union lists him as a tangible asset.
If he's so unpopular, why do the voters keep sending him back to Washington?
Ah, they're no fools. It's the only way to keep him out of the state.
The other son's a judge, isn't he?
That's a distinction.
He's made it one. He has the distinction of having had more of his decisions overturned than any other man in jurisprudence.
Is the daughter pretty, Mrs. Savage?
Well, there's a picture of her in this paper. You can have a look and judge for yourself.
Don't show us anything out of the paper.
Oh, I won't, just the picture.
We don't look at pictures either.
People are always pinned under trucks.
Well, I'll peek first to make sure it isn't horrible.
Oh, even I don't say it's horrible.
Oh, she's a queen! She's wearing a crown!
Oh, a queen?
It's a tiara. A tiara fairy. It's an old photo taken when she was married to her Slovak prince.
Maybe we should just take a quick look at them, just to be polite.
Then she's a princess.
Well, no, she discarded her prince a good 6 husbands ago.
But why?
Oh, hell hath no music like a woman playing second fiddle.
But she kept the tiara?
Oh, indeed she did. I suspect she sleeps in it.
I don't know when I've seen a prettier tiara.
The dress is cut rather low, isn't it?
I don't like her. Let's do something mean to her.
Why, fairy?
I don't mean something really mean. I mean something like putting her picture up on the dartboard and throwing darts at it.
Fairy.
Oh, my dear, you're a sweet child. That's exactly what we'll do.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Oh.
Don't-
Oh. Didn't hear that. I need the exercise, my dear. Now, what can I pin it up with?
Mrs. Penny has some thumbtacks.
Fairy, I'm disappointed in you.
I wish I'd died in my cradle.
You're an evil little girl if you've got such a thing.
Oh, I'm the culprit, Florence. Mrs. Penny, that's the most beautiful landscape I've ever seen. Do you know I can actually smell the ocean? I think your genius lies in your simplicity. You challenge the imagination. Could I borrow 4 thumbtacks? Thank you.
This is setting a very bad example for motherhood.
Oh, do stop worrying, Florence. Don't you like surprises?
Well, yes.
Well, I want a surprise Linda. I'll tee off. Now, target for tonight. Right at the tiara.
Something dreadful is going to happen, I know.
Everybody to the upstairs study. Mrs. Savage's visitors are here.
May I stay, Mrs. Willie, please? I never get to meet strangers anymore.
I'm sorry, Fairy, but the senator insisted on privacy. Hurry along now, everybody out.
Someday, when I'm ordered out, I'll leave without saying a word. I have as much pride as anyone.
All the way upstairs now.
How's the weather out there?
It's stormy. Hurry over to this, Mrs. Savage. That will be all you can wait outside. We'll leave the latch off the door and wait at the hall table.
I don't know what to say to you, Mother. For the life of me, I don't know what to say to you.
Well, polite people say good evening.
This section is so unlike you.
I'm not angry. I'm just hurt.
Have you the faintest idea of the enormity of what you've done? You've gone and sold control of 15 Savage Industries.
We'll have to sell our stock in Savage Brass just to buy it back.
Oh, didn't you find out? I sold that one first.
I mustn't get excited. I mustn't get excited. I get lines.
What else? What else did you dispose of?
Everything in my name.
They're ruined!
Where is the money? You couldn't have spent it.
Dear, I converted it into a nice, neat little bundle of negotiable bonds that can't be traced and buried them.
When you say buried, you mean hidden.
No, I mean buried, as in funeral.
In the ground?
I feel physically ill.
Where is it buried?
I forget.
Oh Lord, grant my mother one moment of clarity.
Where did you bury them? Concentrate.
Best thing in the world for getting lines out of the face, Lily Bell. I must do something about getting you a new eye. Do you know somewhere that sells bear's eyes, Lily Bell?
Give me that stupid thing and answer us.
Miss Willie, help!
Lilybell, wait. You're just antagonising her. We'll get nowhere fighting amongst ourselves.
All right, Mother. I'm sorry. Hold your bear. Forget that you're sick.
What we must make you understand, Mother, is it's not the money that concerns us so much as the disgrace of all.
Ow!
What happened?
She bit me!
Nonsense. Whatever Mother might do, she wouldn't descend to biting.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts!
There's no need to raise your voice.
If ever there was a wasp, it's that woman that we call Mother. I know when I've been bitten.
We'll get nowhere fighting amongst ourselves. We can't afford it.
You can't afford anything.
We simply refuse to be angry with you, Mother. Lilybell, apologise.
I will not.
Lilybell?
All right, Mother. I don't object to your biting me, nor mangle me to the bone. Gum me to your heart's content. Only tell us what you've done with our money.
My money, you've had your share.
The estate is ours. It's been in the family for generations.
8 generations.
It's unthinkable that you should be the first savage to be found wanting.
Found wanting. What?
The savage pride. Now, I want you to listen carefully to what I have to say, Mother. We have never considered ourselves possessors of a great fortune, but we're custodians of wealth.
Ah!
Don't do that!
Look! I just asked you to look! She's been doing dance in my picture!
What of it? That can't possibly hurt you.
It's a vicarious form of murdering someone. Why? It's just the most vicious sort of voodoo magic known to science.
We're losing ground.
We were fostered by a she-wolf. Every savage son of us.
What have you done with the money?
I told you I buried it.
Where? Unless you tell us at once you are going to a public institution, we'll not tolerate this criminal waste!
Oh, you've got me in such a state I can't think. I haven't a brain in my head anyhow. You've told me so time and time again.
Not me.
Oh, with all this shouting, I can't remember a thing.
What do you mean you can't remember a thing? Of course you can.
No, I can't. My head is pounding.
I must be better be careful.
Can we get you something?
Oh, well, the only thing that clears my head is those powders I used to take.
Where are they?
I'm out of them.
We'll get more.
Will you?
Of course.
This is the prescription number for my druggist in Boston.
You mean for us to drive all the way to Boston?
Where is everyone?
Titus, we'd better be careful. We best get those powders and come back in the morning. We're not going to accomplish anything here tonight.
Yes, I agree with you, Lilybell. Have the prescription filled.
Get it filled, Samuel. When we get back, I'm going to night a bit.
Are you prepared to tell us what you've done with those bonds in the morning?
Pound, pound, pound.
I'll let the chef know we're ready.
Now, what got into him? Well, come, Lilybell. I'll have Dr. Emmett give her a sedative.
Lily, psst.
What do you mean? Psst.
I've got something important to tell you about the bonds. I wanted to tell you, and you alone, where the bonds are hidden.
What I mean?
Titus and Samuel are fools. If anything happened to me tonight, the bonds would be lost.
It was Titus who wanted you here, not I. Tell us, where did you? Tell me, where did you?
Where would you hide $10 million if you didn't trust banks?
I don't know.
Under a rock?
Of course not.
Well, would you hide them in your mattress? Mind you, you're never far from your mattress, but if you were and the house burned down...
Are you going to tell me or not?
Have you ever been to the Museum of Natural History?
No.
Very educational and fireproof.
Mother, please.
Have you ever been to the third floor of the museum?
No.
The Department of Theology.
What are you talking about?
Finish. In the last room, on the third floor, is hanging from two wires is a big, dusty porpoise.
Well?
I hid the bonds. I stuffed the bonds inside that stuffed fish.
I don't believe you.
Name me a safer place.
Only a fool would do such a thing.
Oh, well, that's me.
But how could you get a package of bonds inside a box?
Oh, easy. A razor blade and scotch tape.
How do I know you're telling me the truth?
Well, there's one simple way to find out.
Oh, no. You must think me very gullible indeed. I have absolutely no intention of hunting around inside a stuffed fish.
I'm going to hold the car all night for you, Lilybell. Samuel is honking.
Oh, let him honk.
Doctor, we'll see you shortly.
Titus,
Yes?
kiss me goodnight.
I don't trust you. You beat Lilybell.
Oh, that's ironical because I trust you. I was just about to tell you where the bonds were hidden.
Surely not, you know I never wanted you here. I listened to Lilybell.
So, will you let me go and leave me alone?
You know I will.
Then I'll tell you where the bonds are. The bonds are in a tin box.
Where?
Do you remember the time I went with a group from Actors Equity to Washington?
No.
Well, I do. It was National Ethel Week. We all had lunch with the First Lady. Oh, there was an Ethel Barrymore, Ethel Merman, Ethel Waters.
What are you talking about?
I buried the bonds in the President's hothouse.
I don't believe you.
Like, you didn't believe Pearl Harbor until you investigated.
Why would you choose such a public place? Everybody in and out.
Well, I'm not very bright, am I?
How do I know you didn't know the place?
In the corner under the patchouli bed.
Oh no. I'm not going to fall into that trap. You didn't bury the bonds there.
Well, there's one sure way to find out. Dig.
Titus, unless you hurry, Samuel's going to go off without us.
I'm coming.
I refuse to believe you.
We listened. We're horrible.
We're quite ashamed.
We all wish we were dead.
We wanted to stop listening and sneak away, but we couldn't without making too much noise.
Quite all right. It's no secret. If you read the newspapers, you'd know.
Did you really hide all that money?
I did indeed, for my memorial fund.
And now you're giving it back?
You're very generous for your weight and size.
But you didn't tell the judge where his share was.
Oh, that prescription? It was really a note saying to dig underneath the chimney.
Why did you
hide it if you were going to tell them where it was.
You said I did.
We heard you.
Oh, foolish I am, but not that foolish. Whatever's under that chimney, or in the president's petunia bed, or inside that stuffed porpoise, I can assure you it isn't my little market bonds.
Then why did you say they were?
I wanted to see to what extent they would go to make fools of themselves.
Oh, nothing makes a truth so shabby as a magnificent lie. How splendid!
What makes you think that they'll believe you?
Oh, they want to believe me.
They might consider it degrading to go deep.
Yes, but they will.
How can you be sure?
Oh. There are 5 million things that there are 1 million things that a man won't do for $5, but there are 5 things that a man won't do for $1 million. They'll dig.